Article 4.3 Safe and Accessible Cycling Infrastructure. Article 3 highlights the urgent need for high-quality, safe, continuous, and accessible cycling infrastructure across the European Union in both urban and rural settings. It underscores that the promotion of cycling depends on well-designed elements such as segregated bike lanes, safe intersections, secure parking facilities, and effective intermodal connections. The article also calls attention to the necessity of accommodating people with reduced mobility, ensuring that infrastructure is inclusive from the outset. To fulfill these goals, it advocates for the development of infrastructure that is not only safe and comfortable, but also physically connected and socially inclusive. This includes eliminating barriers that deter individuals from cycling, extending the reach of cycling networks beyond city centers to link different regions, and embedding universal accessibility and road safety principles into every stage of the design and implementation process. Recommended technical measures include adopting clear design standards for segregated bike lanes, conducting road safety audits focused specifically on cycling, planning for secure parking and repair stations along key routes, and requiring universal accessibility as a standard criterion in publicly funded infrastructure projects. Practical examples: Netherlands, a network of bike paths separated from motor traffic, well-marked, illuminated, and maintained, with priority at intersections and roundabouts. France, the Vélo and Territoires project has extended cycling routes through rural areas, connecting them with urban networks and train stations. Poland, in Wrocław, the cycling network has been designed with continuity and safety in mind, eliminating disconnected segments and pedestrian conflict zones. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people: critical route analysis in their surroundings. Go on a walk or bike ride to evaluate real-life cycling infrastructure conditions. Are there bike lanes? Are they safe? Are they connected? Are there obstacles? Create a visual report, photos, notes, and propose improvements. Model or digital design of an ideal street. In groups, redesign a real street in their city to make it more accessible and safer for cyclists. Use flip charts, cardboard, or digital tools like Tinkercad or SketchUp. Urban bike test. Create a questionnaire to evaluate local cycling routes: width, safety, connectivity, lighting, signage. Apply it and generate a score for local routes. Awareness campaign. The invisible route. Highlight missing or dangerous segments of the cycling network. Create a video, digital map, or symbolic artistic intervention. Creative bike rack prototype, design and build, physically or as a model, a secure, visible, and accessible bike rack for a specific public place, e.g. park, school, community center. Article 4.4 Social Inclusion and Equitable Access. This article highlights the role of the bicycle as a powerful tool for social inclusion, acknowledging that access to transportation is fundamental for securing essential rights, such as employment, education, healthcare, and active social participation. It stresses the importance of ensuring that cycling is a real and viable option for all people, especially those in rural areas, individuals with disabilities, young people, older adults, and communities in vulnerable situations. The core objectives of the article are to make cycling accessible across all social groups while promoting territorial and generational equity in the enjoyment of active mobility. It also seeks to dismantle the physical, economic, cultural, and symbolic barriers that prevent individuals from using the bicycle, recognizing its transformative potential to foster both personal autonomy and broader social integration. To support these goals, a variety of technical instruments can be applied. These include public programs that provide bicycles through lending or donation schemes for young people or those with limited financial means, the use of adapted bicycles to meet the needs of people with reduced mobility or disabilities, and the development of free or subsidized cycling education and training initiatives. Furthermore, the article advocates for inclusive and multilingual awareness campaigns, along with the application of universal design principles in all cycling-related infrastructure and services to ensure true accessibility for everyone. Practical examples: Spain. In Zaragoza, a program donates unused bicycles to young people in peripheral neighborhoods, repaired in community workshops. Belgium. Some cities offer mobility vouchers to vulnerable families to access bicycles or e-bikes. Denmark. The initiative Cycling Without Age, founded in Copenhagen in 2012, promotes intergenerational cycling by offering free outings on specially adapted trishaws, where young volunteers, called pilots, take older adults or people with disabilities for rides, fostering inclusion, mobility, and social connection. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people: real-life stories. Research and share stories of people for whom the bicycle has made a positive difference in their lives, whether due to financial, health, or inclusion-related reasons. Interviews or short videos can be created. Empathy workshop, a group activity that simulates barriers to bicycle use, e.g., riding with one leg immobilized, without vision, or without financial means. Reflect together on the invisible obstacles that exist. Design a local inclusive cycling program. In teams, imagine and plan a municipal program to ensure that no young person is left without a bike. How would it be funded? Who would be involved? What barriers would it need to address? Collaborative mural. Bikes for everyone. Create a physical or digital mural using Padlet or Canva, where each young person expresses how cycling can be inclusive through images, phrases, drawings, or local examples. Opportunity and barrier map. Use Google My Maps or manual cartography to identify places where bicycles are accessible and where they are not, due to lack of infrastructure, danger, or cost. Analyze and discuss in groups. Article 4.5, Road Safety and Cycling Education. This article emphasizes that safety is a fundamental condition for promoting cycling. It acknowledges that many people, particularly women, children, and the elderly, avoid using bicycles due to fear of accidents. Therefore, it is essential to improve infrastructure, strengthen regulations, implement effective enforcement measures, and especially provide early and continuous education and training. The article calls for a safe system approach that considers the safety of cyclists alongside that of all other road users. Its main objectives are to increase cyclists' safety on public roads, promote cycling education from an early age in both formal and informal settings, reduce accident rates through infrastructure, legislation, and awareness, and foster a culture of mutual respect between pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. To achieve this, the article recommends technical measures such as school-based and youth-center cycling education programs, the enforcement of safe speed limits in urban areas, awareness campaigns promoting coexistence between different modes of transport, effective monitoring of traffic law compliance, and training programs for educators, youth workers, and local agents. Practical examples: France. The Savoir Rouler à Vélo program allows primary school children to learn to ride safely through both theoretical and practical lessons. Italy. Milan has introduced 30 km/h speed limits in numerous neighborhoods to create safer environments for cyclists and pedestrians. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people: practical road safety workshop. Deliver a theoretical and practical workshop covering basic rules for cycling, traffic signs, helmet use, lights, and behavior at intersections. It may include a short ride to practice what was learned. Urban traffic simulation. Set up a mock traffic circuit with signs, obstacles, and intersections where young people play the roles of cyclists, pedestrians, and drivers. Reflect on what it feels like to ride and share learning outcomes. Awareness campaign. Respect my 1.5 meters. Create awareness materials on the minimum safe passing distance for cyclists. Use Canva or physical posters. Share them on social media or in community spaces. Citizen safety audit: identify and document dangerous locations for cyclists in the local area, blind intersections, poorly lit streets, unmarked crossings. Upload the findings to a collaborative map, Google My Maps or Padlet. Kahoot-style quiz or interactive game. Create an online game with questions about cycling safety, a fun and engaging way to introduce or review important knowledge. Article 4.6, Adequate funding for cycling. Article 6 of the Declaration highlights that funding is a fundamental pillar for enabling more people to use bicycles. Without sufficient investment, cycling policies cannot move from theory to practice. The text calls for dedicated financial support for cycling at all levels, from local to European, for the creation of new infrastructure, and also for maintaining existing networks, promoting educational programs, and developing related services. The article's main objectives are to ensure structured, stable, and sufficient funding for the development of cycling, to encourage the integration of cycling into mobility, health, education, and environmental budgets, to promote the efficient use of European funds, such as ERDF or Horizon Europe, in cycling-related projects, and to guarantee the upkeep and upgrading of already existing infrastructure. Among the key technical instruments are specific budget allocations for cycling within municipal or national plans, access to European funds such as the Connecting Europe Facility, CEF, or Next Generation EU, local microfinancing programs such as youth participatory budgets or grants for cycling groups, and eligibility criteria in urban development projects linked to sustainable mobility. Practical examples: Belgium, Brussels. The city has tripled its cycling budget over the last 5 years, reaching €30 million annually, allocated to infrastructure, training, and public campaigns. Spain, Valencia. The City Council has deployed EU Next Generation funds to build a connected network of segregated and secure cycling lanes across neighborhoods, particularly prioritizing routes near schools and universities to enhance safe active mobility and reduce motor traffic. Italy, Bologna. As part of the Regional Bike to Work Scheme 2024 to 2026, employers and public bodies can register employees in an app-based tracking system. Participants receive up to 20 cents per kilometer cycled for commuting, maximum €50 per month, based on GPS-certified rides. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people. Participatory budgeting simulation. Divide the group into teams representing different sectors: education, environment, mobility, youth. With a fictional budget, they must negotiate how to fund cycling initiatives. Evaluate what gets prioritized and why. Funding pitch design. In small groups, develop a local cycling project idea, e.g., bike park, repair workshop, educational campaign, and prepare a brief elevator pitch to seek funding. Use Canva or Google Slides. Local research analyze the municipal budgets of their town or city. Is cycling mentioned? How much is invested? Present the results visually and suggest improvements. Investors, card game. Each team represents a youth organization and receives cards with types of potential investments: infrastructure, workshops, apps, campaigns. They must prioritize them and justify their choices. Create a campaign demanding cycling investment. Design a hashtag, slogan, and youth mobilization actions to demand more funding for cycling in their area. Use social media or creative approaches such as flash mobs or videos. Article 4.7, Cycling and the Local Green Economy. Article 7 highlights the economic dimension of cycling as a driver of sustainable and local development. The bicycle supports employment across diverse sectors such as manufacturing, repair, tourism, urban logistics, and neighborhood commerce. Thanks to its low cost and zero-emission nature, cycling contributes to building a greener, more circular, and resilient economy with positive impacts in both urban centers and rural communities. This article calls for greater recognition of cycling as a source of green jobs and innovation, encouraging advances in design, production, maintenance, and complementary services. It also promotes cycle tourism as a strategic opportunity for rural development and urges the expansion of bicycle-based logistics models in cities. To support these aims, a range of tools are proposed: public support for cycling-related enterprises, such as cooperatives, workshops, and delivery services, tax benefits for businesses that adopt cycling in their operations, vocational training in bicycle mechanics and cycle tourism, and regional tourism strategies aligned with European cycling networks like Eurovelo. Practical examples: France, Maisons du Vélo are local cycling hubs grounded in social economy principles, offering bike training, rentals, repairs, and info services while explicitly targeting youth and vulnerable groups through employment-linked programs. Spain, Asturias, and Catalonia. Cycling cooperatives operate tourist routes, workshops, and bike shops in rural areas, helping to stimulate the local green economy. Italy, sustainable logistics companies such as Urban Bike Messengers deliver packages by bike in the city center, reducing traffic and pollution. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people: Green Jobs Map with Bikes. In groups, identify and visually represent, on paper or with Miro, cycling-related jobs: mechanics, delivery riders, tour guides, designers, event organizers, etc. Discuss what skills and training are needed and what opportunities exist in their area. Cycling Entrepreneurship Workshop. Design a fictional business or social initiative based on the bicycle. What does it offer? Who is it for? How is it sustained? What is its environmental and social impact? Presented as an infographic or digital prototype. Local best practices research. Find real examples of businesses or associations using bicycles as an economic driver in their region. Create a fact sheet or short oral presentation. Simulation game. Green City. Create a board where different sectors, tourism, logistics, commerce, training, decide how to integrate bicycles into their local economic model. Analyze shared benefits. Youth mini documentary or podcast interview people who work with bicycles, couriers, mechanics, guides, activists. Produce a short video or audio piece telling their stories and connecting them to sustainable development. Article 4.8, Data Collection and Policy Monitoring. Article 8 emphasizes the importance of having accurate, up-to-date, and comparable data to design, evaluate, and improve cycling policies. Without reliable information on bicycle usage, public perception, accident rates, or financial investment, it becomes difficult to justify political decisions, assess policy impacts, or detect territorial inequalities. The article also calls for the harmonization of indicators across the European Union. It aims to establish systematic data collection systems for cycling mobility, develop common indicators that enable comparisons between countries and regions, assess the impact of cycling policies through the lenses of effectiveness, equity, and sustainability, and promote citizen participation in policy design and monitoring. Technical tools proposed include automatic bicycle counters, on streets, routes, or at city entrances, regular mobility habit surveys, conducted in person or online, mobility observatories and open data platforms, and harmonized European-level indicators covering use, safety, investment, and public perception. Practical examples. France, Vélo and Territoire's digital platform aggregates bicycle traffic data from over 1,500 permanent automatic counting points nationwide via the Plateforme Nationale de Fréquentation, providing real-time and historical usage insights on key urban and Eurovelo routes. Netherlands. Real-time bicycle detection and advanced counting systems are integrated into Intelligent Traffic Light Control, IVRI/ITLC, allowing priority for cyclists, especially groups, flexible signal phasing, and providing rich multimodal data for mobility planning. Spain, Madrid. The City Council's open data portal publishes detailed datasets on the public bike share system, BicyMad, including usage counts, GPS-based cycling flow data, route maps, and survey-driven mobility analyses, supporting transparency, planning, and research. Suggested activities to work on this article with young people. Local mini-cycling survey design and conduct a brief survey on bicycle use in their community. How many people cycle? How often? What barriers do they face? Analyze the results in groups and present them using graphs, Google Forms plus Google Sheets, collaborative cycling use map. Using Google My Maps or Padlet, create a shared map where participants mark the routes they take, places where they feel safe or unsafe, and their suggestions for improvements. Identify patterns and key areas. Design of citizen indicators. In groups, define which data should be collected to evaluate good cycling policies, what should be measured, how, by whom. Data detectives game. Search for open data on cycling at the city, regional, or national level from municipal websites, statistical agencies, NGOs. What data is available? What's missing? Is the information useful? Youth Hackathon. Ideas from data. Using the data collected, brainstorm possible solutions. How could cycling mobility be improved? What political actions could be proposed? Present the results as a campaign or formal proposal. 5. Key strategies for facilitating this process with young people. Working with the European Declaration on Cycling, as outlined in the previous sections, involves more than simply transmitting knowledge. It also requires fostering critical reflection, creative engagement, and youth empowerment. To achieve this, it is essential to adopt an educational approach that resonates with the interests, language, and lived realities of each group.